All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. It's so weird that I don't have the live streams here. Oh. Okay. Sounds fine, I guess. That's why. Okay. There we go. Okie dokie. Very good. It's done. Good morning, guys. Today we have another great day in the market, another opportunity to make money. Yesterday we cleared almost $700 inside of the market. That was a big win for us. We did it live as well. I showed you guys exactly where to take the trade. We took it on the breakout of this level of 24,959 and 50 cents. We took and rode the profit all the way to the high up here. Remember, I was planning on taking the profit level to level, so I set my take profit without moving it. Got stopped out on that last contract, but nevertheless, it was a very successful trade for the program. We'll go ahead and show just the profit and loss yesterday on the 5 contracts that I traded. This was easily $200, $500, $600, $600 and about $24, $32 in the market. $632 is not a bad day inside of the market. You keep days like that, and what ends up happening is we have a collective great and green month. That is the goal here. That is the goal here at the Academy. That's the goal here at what I'm trying to teach you guys. Why we wake up early every single morning to make these trades, because we want to get out of that 9 to 5 rat race. Now, what we have on MNQ, we talked about it in the previous video, is sideways trading here. No matter how you look at this sideways consolidation, we had a very violent swing down on MNQ, right? So we had our all-time highs at 26,349. We came down almost 2,000 points in the market. Now we're trading at a higher low inside of the market in a continuation on a downtrend. At any point, do you guys think that we should be going long here? The answer is no. We should not be going long for the reason that MNQ hasn't signaled we are outside of the bearish trend. What we were looking at is to see if we can get back into this medium or equilibrium inside, which would be a pivot zone for MNQ. We still look like we're breaking down, so at this point, I don't think that this correctional wave is over just yet. We're not in danger, right? If we look from a top-down approach, this doesn't look like a very dangerous chart, other than this looks like a P3 consolidation. We see evident facts on our charts that we're now doubling a very strong support here, right? That's simply the fact of what it is. It's just a very strong support. We don't look like we really want to break down, but what comes from a P3 consolidation is usually a P4 markdown. So right now we're underneath the EMAs. We're struggling to get above the EMAs on the daily chart. That's still pushing us down a little bit further. When we have price action like this, what ends up happening, it doesn't matter the size of the consolidation or how long it takes. What it usually does is it pulls back around that 7 to 10%, right? So this was an accumulative of 90 days or 3 months, and then we pulled back almost 30% here, 24%. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for a major pullback inside of the market so that we can bet and make some real money, because the real money always comes from shorting the markets. It never comes from going long in the markets. So I wonder what today's trading day is going to bring for us. I want to just go through all of our tickers just so we can see a very clear outline of the market. I'm going to remove and clear some of our charts. MNQ is good. We don't need to clear that chart. I think clearing gold would be smart. Silver, wow. Terrible what happened to silver, but this was to be expected. I said at 125 banks would become insolvent. They were shorting silver. We've proved that with order books from JP Morgan and Chase and a few other banks that were indeed shorting silver. We're looking like we're still on a bearish trend underneath the EMAs on the daily, so that's not good. Looking like it's teeter-tottering. Bitcoin also pulled back quite significantly back into the hoe zone. This is an area of interest of buys that I would like to start accumulating a good price, but at this point I don't think that I'm going to start taking anything other than nibbles on Bitcoin. Same thing for Ethereum. This is a great price. As you can see, we're almost half off. That's a 50% discount on major coins. This is where you start taking large amounts of capital and dispersing it across of the market with no intention of it's going to go anywhere but down. And when I say that, I say it with a grain of salt, and why I say it is because this is where you start to dollar cost average your cost basis. This is what's going to, in the long run or a long period of time, get you out of a bind, because you're going to essentially be able to buy the dip, ride it out for the next, let's say for the next 5 years inside of the market, and it's going to net you more money than what you would be doing with your money sitting in a 1% interest situation with the bank, which I wouldn't be putting my money with 1% interest. Not only is it haram, I think that when you earn money a specific way, it should be overall growth with a portfolio, or growth with coins that have purpose inside of an ecosystem. That's why I have subsections of my Bitcoin trading trading charts, which is like altcoins, the big four, and then meme coins, and then my shorting coins. So this is how I organize my portfolio so that I understand the overall and general health inside of the market, and why it's really important when you're making money inside of these markets to have a very organized chart and chart data so that you can wake up every single morning. You can spend about 30 minutes to analyze the overall health of the market, and just going through each subsector of the market, we can see that everything is red. There's also a very good tool you can use, stock market heat maps, right? This is on FinViz. It's very, very popular amongst a lot of people. You can see that the market is very tiny, like very tiny percentage of the market is up, like 2%, 2%, less than 1%. These are good indications to see overall sectors as well, to see how your portfolio is doing. For example, consumer defense, that's majority of it is red. And when they have larger boxes than the rest of the stocks inside of here, what it's essentially saying is that there are smaller parts and subsections of that overall sector. So it's important to put these thoughts in the back of your mind, because ultimately it can be your saving grace. Crypto, like I said, red, red, red. So we're going to stay away from crypto. Like I said, if you want to take nibbles at this red portfolio, all it is on deep discount. I mean, hell, a lot of these are really good coins. BNB is a huge example of trading at 50% off. I mean, I can only imagine what some people's portfolios look like here. With that being said, let's go ahead and bump right into what's the important part, taking our levels, setting our plan for the day. So as you can see here, sideways chop inside of the markets. Be careful with this kind of trading data. It looks like we're pointing a little bit further down. Remember yesterday I told you guys we would take a break and retest of this level to have a clear indication that if we were going to continue forward, this resistance was going to turn to a support, and the support and resistance flip would have held a little bit stronger than the price action we saw here. What happened with price is later in the day, we clearly flipped resistance back to support back to a resistance. We came underneath it, we broke above it, but now with a higher low. So that's not a good indication of any sort of going long in this position. What it's probably going to do is chop some more today. So chop city is a very difficult way for us to make money, especially when we trade breakouts and we trade confluence. The markets will also tell us a depiction of the story, or a version of the story, when we look at it on the 5-minute candle. 5 minutes right now on the market collectively is chopping, declining flagpoles. So if we had to say right now, Apple is not doing much. It's trading sideways in the pre-market. Amazon, it's coming up, but now having like a slight downtrend. Could change in the market open in 20 minutes. AVGO is chopping around sideways. Could change in the market open. Not 100% sure. Google, same scenario, same situation, chopping. Meta is chopping. Microsoft is chopping. Nvidia is chopping. And Tesla is chopping sideways. So we have 8 tech stocks chopping sideways inside of the market. That's not giving me a lot of confidence inside of the market that this is going to be a great trading morning. It might change throughout the morning and the first 18 minutes of the data, or the first 15 minutes of data that comes in. We might have a change in story, but I might not be here for that because I do have to take my wife to the airport. So Mez right now might be a different story. It's made up of a little bit more stocks. Maybe we can take a trade around here. Chopping sideways is not really the market that I like to make money in, so I'm seeing this trading data is really just chop. Look, up, down, up, down, up, down. This is not any sort of breakouts, which is where I make my bread and butter. So maybe I stay away from that. I will still chart it so that we have our levels for everybody that wants to make sure that they do their homework every single day. There's a level here. There's a level here. There's a level here. There's a level here. Double check my levels. I can live with those. This is a very simple thing. So we have a level at 69.36, 6888, 6849, 6825. Okay, that'll be posted on the Twitter. Damn, I did that to myself. CM and Q. Not great as well, honestly. I would have wanted to see a little bit closer to a level just to make a trade here. Okay. I mean, it is what it is. Those are that's what we have for today to trade. Gold. Let's take a look to see if gold is giving us any sort of breakout. Let's see. Check my notes. Check my friends' telegrams as well. Yeah. All right, nothing too motivating for me on even my friends. Sideways consolidation on gold. Not beautiful. Not sexy. say that's probably my two concurrent levels on gold. So trading between these two levels. We'll try to wait for a breakout on these two levels here. Maybe draw that a little bit closer. All right, well, that's the markets today, boys and girls. So we did our market analysis in about 20 minutes. Remember that today I gotta take my wife to the airport, and I gotta go and get ready for that in the next 10 minutes. So I'd like to take some time to go pray. Ramadan Mubarak to everybody who is a Muslim. Remember, take this time to appreciate and also give thanks to God for all that He has given us. Because without Him, I really don't know where I would be in life. He has given me so many blessings in the past year and showed me so many things. So I'm going to take that time to go pray for the next 10 minutes, and then I'm going to get into it. Hopefully we'll have a